I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
Yes or no? Did you ever take banned substances to enhance your cycling performance?
Yes.
I had no prior knowledge of the planned assault on Nancy Kerrigan.
I am deeply sorry for my irresponsible and selfish behavior I engaged in.
Merry 2020, everybody. Welcome to Oops, the podcast. I am Giulio Gallerati. I am joined by
Francis Ellis.
Wonderful guy, if you guys don't already know.
Yeah.
We're here with Chris, our producer. We're having a good time. We feel good to be back in the saddle. And, 2020, baby.
Yeah. Wow. Everyone's talking about it. Are they?
I think they are.
Oh.
The new decade. People got to find something to talk about.
Yeah. Well, do you know what was last night?
The Golden Globes.
That's right. Did you watch Ricky Gervais's opening monologue?
I didn't watch any of it.
It was
good?
intense.
Really?
He held no punches.
Good for him.
You know what? And the great part was whoever was producing the show, the camera operator, kept panning to the audience reactions. And, they're cutting in on Tom Hanks and Gwyneth Paltrow, maybe not her, but, what's her fucking name? The one who wins Meryl Streep.
Oh, yeah.
So you're getting all the reactions from all these people. And, it was amazing. Some people reacted very well. Leonardo DiCaprio, he told a very funny joke about him. He said, Leonardo DiCaprio watched The Irishman. The movie was so long that by the time it was over, his girlfriend was too old for him. And it cut to Leo, and Leo's laughing his head off. And everyone's like, fuck yeah, I love Leonardo DiCaprio,
That's
right?
Great.
And then you had a couple cutaways to especially some older actors and actresses who are like...
Is there a chance they couldn't hear?
It's, I don't know. They were grimacing, dude.
Like,
they were
like Anthony Hopkins just can't hear what's happening.
Yeah, they were full on grimacing.
Oh, they were?
Yeah. Now, De Niro and Scorsese both laughed, but I think the Scorsese dig was pretty low key. I mean, nobody's really coming after him. He was too short to ride theme parks or something like that.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So, but then there were some others. I remember that just looked like, I remember thinking like, really, Tom Hanks or whoever else, you can't laugh at this shit. And it was all kind of a takedown of Hollywood and the red carpet. Based on, a lot of it was based on Harvey Weinstein digs and
right.
Ronan Farrow's book. That was the big one that kind of separated the audience. And I just finished Ronan Farrow's book.
I remember you telling me about it.
It's called Catch and Kill. And it's the expose of the whole outing of Harvey Weinstein and Matt Lauer and a few others. Right. But the real crazy part about this book, if you haven't read it, you should go read Catch and Kill right now. It's the behind the scenes of all the shit that came out in 2016 that started the whole Me Too movement.
It's been that long? Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah.
Crazy.
And he's just going to, trial now, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He's in New York.
Well, I guess, Bombshell was like a pretty popular one for the awards season, so...
Oh, that's the
kind of leads right into it a little bit.
Was that about Roger Ailes and Megyn
yeah.
Kelly?
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen that. Did you watch that?
Yeah, I didn't love it, to be honest. It was all right.
Is it sexist to say you didn't like that movie?
No. I don't know.
I'd be too scared to say I didn't like it.
I was excited about it, and then I just feel like it wasn't like incredible,
I finally saw Joker.
Oh, yeah. I saw it too.
Holy shit,
cool,
what
right?
a movie.
Yeah, I like that one.
Dude.
I like The Irishman a lot too, dude. Have you watched it?
I did like that quite a lot.
I liked it a lot.
It was understated.
And I didn't want to watch it. I was like, oh God. I was like, these guys playing the same parts. They're so old. This is going to suck. And I just thought it was so good.
It was so different. Yeah. It was really good.
But dude, we're talking about, I don't want to get off subject.
Yeah.
I was thinking about
Ronan
the Gervais
Farrow
stuff too.
Yeah. So Ricky Gervais said, he said, like, everybody here tonight is afraid of Ronan Farrow.
Mm-hmm.
Because Ronan Farrow has been coming after everyone. And the thing about his book that I found really interesting was, obviously it focuses on the horrors of Harvey Weinstein's behavior and all the people he abused and raped and all that. And it's fucking horrific. But there were a lot of peripheral players that contributed to the shelving of that story.
Ah, right.
And I'm talking, dude,
big people.
Hillary Clinton, okay?
Oh, wow.
Tom Brokaw was a little bit implicit. Farrow does not. First of all, Ronan Farrow is the son of Mia Farrow and Woody Allen.
Right.
And Woody Allen has a very sordid past of sexual abuse himself, including allegations of abusing Ronan's 8-year-old sister at the time.
Wow.
Yeah, and he goes into detail about that.
Jesus.
And not only that, but of course, then Woody Allen, of course, ended up divorcing his wife to marry her daughter. I mean, the guy's just,
And Mia Farrow at the time, honestly, like I watched Rosemary's Baby not too long ago. This is maybe one of the most beautiful women I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, yeah.
Like that time period, Mia Farrow was like untouchable. And not, people are going to be weird regardless of how beautiful their wife is. It's like time after time. But I feel like that to me just makes it, 1% worse.
That you would be
You have literally the most gorgeous woman on earth, and then you just pull the biggest 180 in history.
Well, I guess what they say, right, is that, a guy eats steak every night.
Right, I know.
At some point, he's going to want veal.
Regardless, I understand that. And like,
pretty fucked up joke I just told. Did you hear that? That was pretty good.
That was pretty
veal representing children. Okay.
No, and I'm not naive. Like I understand that every single one of these stories, it's always like some guy who's dating the hottest girl and he like bangs the nanny.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, what the fuck? I don't know. Whatever. But yeah, that book is really ruffling some feathers, huh?
Yeah, you wouldn't blame Mia Farrow for cheating on Woody Allen. You know what I mean?
It would be a little less. You'd be like, yeah.
He's a 4. That dude is a 4 at best. Dude, you know what happens to me during award season? I watch too many movies and then it just fucks with my brain. Like I was walking in here before and I saw a guy sitting in a Con Ed truck and I was like, my instinct was like, that guy's the feds. Anyone wearing a hard hat is just
works for the feds.
Works for the feds.
Like they're just wiretapping us.
It could be. Dude, so Farrow, that's what happened to Ronan Farrow as he was researching this story. They Weinstein and Co., they hired an Israeli intelligence outfit called Black Cube to tail him and dig up dirt on him. And this is kind of what they'd been doing. Every time anyone tried to crack the Harvey Weinstein story, he was able to silence them through intimidation and NDAs and all these crazy agreements.
Jesus.
I mean, in truth, the bravery of the women who finally came out, broke their NDAs, did all this stuff, knowing that women before them had lost their careers over trying to speak out about his abuse, is truly profound. I mean,
agreed.
Asia Argento and who's the
Ashley Judd,
Rose McGowan, Ashley Judd, all these women are really, the heroes. I have to say though, Ronan Farrow, dude, this guy, I mean, they really tried to suppress it, and he was working at NBC News, and Noah Oppenheim, who was the head of NBC News, continually stonewalled the progress of his reporting and just kept saying like, there's not enough here. We're going to shelve this. He would prevent him from interviewing witnesses.
Wow.
And that was why Farrow eventually had to leave and take the story away from NBC News and bring it to the New Yorker, which is where it eventually ran.
Great publication.
Yeah. And now, dude, I mean, you read the book, you're like, fuck NBC News. Fuck all these people that were involved in the cover-up and the preventing of him telling the story. Hillary Clinton, dude, and I'm not getting political here, but like this was the thing. Harvey Weinstein had such a powerful sphere of influence, not just in Hollywood, in politics,
right,
in wealthy circles, in media. He was friends with fucking everybody, and huge donor to Democratic campaigns. And when the piece from Catch and Kill that I remember about Hillary Clinton was that Ronan Farrow was supposed to interview her for a book that he was writing about secretaries of state. And they had the interview lined up. They had a date set, all this stuff. And when it came out that he was working on this story about Harvey Weinstein, Clinton's handler or publicist or whatever it was said she was no longer available for the interview.
Oh, wow.
And then only when it became clear that he was actually publishing the story in the New Yorker did they like realize, oh shit, we need to be on the right side of history here. And they agreed quickly to sit back down for the interview.
Right.
Dude,
yeah.
there were just, it's fucked
Very
up,
stressful.
man. It's the closest thing we have to like a true Illuminati.
Right.
You know,
As far as we know.
yeah.
But dude, that's true and crazy. Like, you have to be so addicted to being a piece of shit. Like, this guy's making gigantic films all the time and also running around trying to silence everybody and just continuing to like back women into a corner, literally. It's like really crazy.
It went on for so many years, and he had such a specific technique, which was to like invite these women for a meeting, a lunch meeting, and then it would be changed at the last second to his hotel room. The women would go up there, you know, because these are aspiring actresses, and he's this decorated, Oscar-thanked film producer or whatever. And they'd get up there and he'd ask them for a massage. And next thing you know, he'd like expose himself or thrust them up against a wall, take a shower in front of them, all this crazy shit. And
also, like, what's her name? The actress from Us, one who's on the cover of Us, I forget her name. But she...
The movie Us?
Yeah.
Isn't
that what it's called? Us? The Jordan Peele one.
She was
her
in 12 Years a Slave.
Yeah.
Well,
he was doing that shit to her when her husband was in the other room.
No way.
Like, they had a meeting, some crazy shit like that. Like,
Lupita Nyong'o. Yeah, Nyong'o.
Lupita Nyong'o.
Yeah.
Crazy, bro.
Damn. It's pretty fucked. And I mean, obviously the Harvey Weinstein story is not a news story, but it is in the news now. And, you know, credit to Ricky Gervais for basically just holding up a mirror to the Hollywood elites and basically saying, you're all fucking complicit, because it was happening so much that there's no way that everybody in that room last night, the Golden Globes, could be like, well, I had no fucking idea.
Right.
Dude, everybody
They've been pretty
knew.
good about it. They've been pretty good about that since that started happening, I feel.
Yeah.
I think it's not just, I'm trying to think, I can't think specifically, but especially the Golden Globes, they tend to be pretty sharp-edged.
Yeah.
It's like the fun one, supposedly.
Do you have an example? Can you think of an example or a time from your life where you saw something happening that didn't sit well with you, but you knew that to speak out against it might not bode well for you, but you did it anyway? I'm putting you on the spot, and I don't have an answer.
I don't know. I'm sure that I have. I'm sure that nothing like that. I mean, I've never watched.
Nothing of
no,
that
I know.
scale.
I've never. No, it's okay. I don't mind answering this question. I've never watched somebody do something bad to somebody else, and like not said anything because I didn't want to fuck myself over. Like, I've never been in a position like that. One time, I went to get fitted. You know, way back when I was in better shape, I went to get fitted for underwear thing, and the guy was like touching my asshole.
Wait, what? Wait, hold on.
The guy started touching my asshole.
What do you mean fitted for an underwear thing?
I think it might have been bullshit. Like, this guy found me at a comedy show. He's like, hey, would you want to model? You can make some money. I was like, yeah, sure. And then I go, and then he like got me in my underwear and started like feeling my ass and shit. I was like, oh, Jesus.
Wait, and you're saying actually tippity-tappeting the hole?
Like, over the underwear. Was
I don't
like
think
kind
that
of
really
tickling.
matters too much.
I mean, it's obviously bad still. I would argue that it's worse in the underwear.
It actually sounds pretty great with the right person.
So I kind of was like, okay, like I
But not that guy.
Well, not
my
that guy.
girlfriend would be fine.
Right.
Yeah.
So I kind of was like, okay, like here we go. This is what this is.
What did you do?
I didn't initially react. Like, I didn't like do any. I was like, what the fuck, dude?
Mm-hmm.
I was just kind of like, oh boy. So then I just wanted to like get.
Oh boy, here we go.
I wanted to get out of there without having it be too like uncomfortable and awkward.
Uh-huh.
And then I kind of like ended it early. I was like, all right, I think I'm just gonna go. But thank you so much.
Right.
And like whatever. It didn't like. That's like the most similar thing that I can recall that's happened to me. But no, I don't know. What about you?
Well, dude, that brings up a story that sparks up an idea that I had, or a memory I have, where I was I used to be a member of the Harvard Club in New York City, which sounds a lot douchier than it actually is.
Probably just as douchey as
It's pretty
sounds.
douchey. It's pretty douchey. In fact, it's more so. The reason I was a member was that when you first graduate, it's the dues are like $300 a year, and they have a really good gym, like an incredible gym, and like steam room, sauna, all that shit. So it was like cheaper than fucking Planet Fitness practically. Right. And so they have that for the first 4 years, and then after that they start raising your prices because they assume you're making more money. But for those first 4 years, I was a member of this place, and the locker room at the Harvard Club is, I mean, it is the elephant graveyard. It is where old men go to fucking sit naked and just talk to each other.
Right. It's like the old boys club situation.
Dude, there is no coverage whatsoever. You talk about old men being free and walking around naked and not giving a fuck anymore. The Harvard Club locker room is the epicenter of that.
But there's probably no guys jerking off or anything. It's probably like a classy outfit.
Yeah. I mean, but their dicks look terrible. Oh, they're just shriveled. They barely look like penises. You're like, I could sort of see how that once might have been a dick.
You know how much those penises are worth, dude?
They're worth a lot. Very, very expensive.
Some fucking expensive cock. Dude.
Yeah. So okay. I went, I like changed, and I wouldn't lavish in nudity, but I would get changed and I'd get naked and then put my workout gear on and go work out. And when I came back one day, we all had our own little basket that you'd put your shit in for like laundry. They would do your laundry. It was awesome. And in my basket, when I came back from my 45-minute workout, there was a note. And it said something like, "Hi, I'm a photographer. I think you have a great look. Like I saw you, yada, yada. Check out, my website. Email me if you'd like to do some modeling." Same shit. And first of all, it's not that fun to be noticed for a modeling gig in a locker room. That feels pretty invasive. Do you know what I mean?
I don't agree. But maybe it's just because I was like a fat kid, sort of. So that if I were
this guy had scoped me when I was naked.
Right, but like that means you look good naked.
Yeah, but I don't want to be nude modeling.
Right.
I would consider modeling for like a clothing brand.
Obviously, but that was obviously what this was on the surface, though. He wasn't like come model naked. He was like come model like.
All right,
you
well
have a
that's
good
what
body.
you say.
All right, so I'm sure. All right, we'll see where the story.
Then I emailed him because I was tutoring for $35 an hour at the time, which sounds like a lot, but I was only tutoring 7 hours a week because whatever.
It's hard to get that pipeline, baby.
This was right after I started selling cocaine too, so I had a lot going on, and a lot of balls in the air, 8 balls. And I emailed the guy, and he emailed me back, and he was like, "Yeah, I just thought you had a good look, yada yada." And I was like, "Okay, cool. So can you send me some examples of work that you've done?" And he goes, "Sure. Just so you know, there's a range from like, I don't even know what, to like PG to pretty racy. I hope that's okay. But we can do whatever you're comfortable with." And I was like, "Okay, fine,
the
sure."
classic abuser feeler.
Dude, he sends me 4 pictures, and the first one was just like a dude in his underwear, and then the next 3 were like 3 black dudes, totally naked, like holding their dicks, straight up gay porn, biggest penises ever, curved, because it's like too much for it to go straight all the way. And
banana.
Then I was like, "Oh man, sorry, not interested." Because that's just, I wasn't up for letting my D fly out.
You just want to get you holding your shaft, dude.
Yeah.
They probably wouldn't pay enough.
Probably not.
But dude, this is sorry.
How much would you need to get paid in order to nude
this
model?
is a good segue into something that happened to me over the weekend. I got an email out of the blue being like, "Hey, I was like looking for comedians on the internet, comedians for hire. Would you be interested in doing a gig at a naked wedding?"
Oh yeah.
Right. And then he's like, hold on, can you pause this for a second? Let me get the email. Let me get my phone. Okay. So I get this email, and at first I'm just like, oh God, here we go.
Yeah.
Because there's usually some ways that you can tell if shit's legit or not.
Right.
And I still don't know what happened with this one, if it's legit or not, but I do know that I couldn't find anything about the guy on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
or his nudist colony. He's like, we're off the internet because we don't want to. We've gotten a lot of hate emails and shit. And I'm like, okay, what are you doing, dude? Oh, Francis is
hydrating.
Francis is drinking water out of like a Kilimanjaro survival kit.
Camelback. Let me tell you something. I don't mean to interrupt your story, but I went skiing over the week and I brought this with me everywhere. And now I don't want to drink water out of anything else. It makes drinking water so fun.
That's hilarious. Yeah, I thought he was like inflating a bicycle tire. He's like fucking blowing on.
Okay, sorry. Keep going.
No worries.
So you get this email. And,
you get the email,
yeah.
and it's like, and he had some good jokes in there too. He was like joking about being naked and shit. He's like some nude material, like he said, like NEW parentheses D. You know what I mean? Like some clever little
puns.
So first I was like, no, but then I was like, all right, well, if he's paying enough, I would do it. I can be bought. This is my policy. If I'm not hurting anybody, if I have an extremely high chance of survival, I'm good. I can be bought to do anything.
That's it?
Yes.
That's your barometer for committing to something?
Yes, and also as long as my quality of life is as good afterward as it was before.
I think that's a big piece.
As well.
That's a major qualifier.
Those three things. I'll do anything. I can do anything for any amount of money. You can think it up. Any crazy thing that you can think of, yes is the answer. All right, so anyway, I say no, and then I'm like, you know what? How much are you guys paying? And the guy's like, well, somewhere between 2,000 and 3,000.
Whoa.
Depending on the length of your set. He's like, we were hoping for 2 30-minute sets. I was like, oh, great. I don't have to do an hour completely naked. He's like, everybody else is naked. And then I was like, okay.
Dude, you could do so much crowd work.
Let me get some more information.
Sorry.
I was like, maybe it's in Venice. So I was assuming it was maybe like kind of like a gay situation, which
Venice,
is
California?
which is fine. I'm totally fine with that. Like, no big deal. But I was like, all right, but let's still get more of a feeler for this. Then the guy's like, the couple wants to see naked photos also. And I was like, oh, here we go, dude. And I was like, well, dude, I don't know you or them. I'm not just sending naked pictures to you. And I was like, I don't know, maybe there's some way we can overcome this, but I don't know. And then he like sent me an email being like, okay. And then emailed me again the next day, like, so how can we overcome this? And that's where we're at right now.
All right. I have a couple solutions.
Let's hear it. Should we try?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think you could arrange a meet and greet, right? No photos, where the couple gets to see you naked, but they'd have to pay some kind of, let's say like a $500 deposit just for that.
What if then but then
you could also Skype.
That's true.
With some kind of assurance that they weren't going to retain the photos.
It's a good idea. Here's the thing I'm worried about. What if we have our meet and greet and then we part ways and 3 hours later they're like, we're not interested anymore?
Well, then that would be a little demoralizing.
But you're right. I could get some cash up
but
front.
If you got a little bit of cash for it, that wouldn't be the worst thing. So do you think this whole thing is a con just to get naked photos of you?
It feels like it might be.
Yeah.
However, maybe not. I mean, but this is the thing. Like, people who are good at this kind of shit, they put the feelers out. They make sure, they see how much they can get away with, and they start doing more and more. I don't know that this is the situation. And it could be legit. Who knows? But it feels like with the lack of transparency on their end, that maybe it is just trying to get naked pictures of you.
All right. So why don't you ask for some photos of the couple? Ask for like a wedding website, a registry, the location where the wedding's going to be held. Get some fucking details, Maybe ask for the names of some people that are coming to the wedding to see if you could get a referral just to make sure it's all above board. All of that stuff. You can ask for a lot of background info here because you're, being sought.
Right. All right. I've also found out that another comedian had got this email as well.
Oh.
But I don't know him that well, so I haven't spoken to him about it. But,
so yeah, I mean, 3 G's is not nothing to, lose wood over.
So I'll tell you this, if this gig were to work out and I were to end up losing wood over this, as you say, if this gig were to work out, I would have a great story to tell at the gig.
Sure.
And I'll tell you what, one other time I did something like this, not naked, obviously. I performed at Caroline's. These people got my information after the show and they hit me up being like, would you be down to perform at our husband's private 50th birthday party? We'd fly you out. And I was like, do I do this? My parents were like, you're going to get murdered.
Oh, shit.
And then I went into the gig. It was amazing. I didn't get murdered. I told the story about how my parents thought I was going to get murdered. And I've been friends with these people for 10 years.
That's awesome.
So
That's great.
Shout out to the Ellens.
Dude, private gigs can be pretty fun.
Yeah, they really can be.
I think Tim Dillon once, maybe it was Aaron Berg, said that he had been hired to do a private birthday party, and it was just like a restaurant where he went and there were only 5 people. It was like the husband's birthday, his wife was there, and then like 3 of their friends.
Yeah.
And he just sat down at the table with them
And shit on them.
roasted the guy for like half an hour, ate with them, had a few glasses of wine, and then left
Great
and got paid like $2,000 or something. And that's fucking
we gotta
awesome.
have him on to tell that story sometime.
Is that Tim? That was Tim Dillon?
Tim Dillon. Dude, that's fucking
Yeah.
great. Dude, I've done some really, I know we've talked about this already, but like even just more are coming to mind. Like I did a wedding or a wedding shower, and picture this: it's all women, and it's the 2 families who are completely different people. Like I don't even think they may have not spoken the same language particularly well. That's hard.
Yeah.
And in that gig, and those gigs, dude, people don't want to hear about your fucking story about whatever. You know what I mean? They want to hear about them.
Right.
They want to hear shit that they, you know what I mean? So if you talk to them, I guess this is doing shitty gigs 101, just engage the crowd.
Yep.
You're doing it at some restaurant.
Totally.
You're like, oh, wow, the grandmother, huh? You're a grandmother? You kidding me? You don't look a day older than 35. Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
Dude, we've talked about it that the first time we ever met, that gig that Ricky came and did with me.
That was great.
Where I had been booked for it because of a referral from the dad of the girl I was dating at the time. He told his business buddy that I was a comedian, and then that guy hired me a year out to come perform for his company holiday party or something, dinner. And by the time I did the gig, I wasn't dating that lady anymore. And the guy who had hired me like stood up to introduce me and was like, yeah, when I hired this guy, he was dating a very dear friend of mine's daughter, and then they broke up, and I didn't have the heart to tell him he couldn't do the gig anymore. Anyway, please welcome Francis Ellis.
That's great.
And I came out there and I just like talked about.
It was tense too, dude.
Yeah.
I was there for.
I just did crowd work the whole time.
Yeah,
pretty much. I was walking between the tables.
Right.
And just like talking to different people, and that's what you got to do.
It's what you got to do.
You can't do your material.
It's hard. It's definitely hard.
Yeah.
It was a weird. And it was also weird where it was in Chelsea Piers.
Yeah, that was
past the hockey rinks.
Yeah.
In this like sky room. It was very nice, but it kind of looked like the prom in there a little bit.
Nobody was having fun.
People were a little uptight, it seemed.
Yeah,
anxious.
anal retentive.
Fucking crazy, dude.
Well, okay, so we got a lot going on. We talked about the Golden Globes.
Speaking of which, shout out Rami Youssef, who won a Golden Globe.
Did he really?
Yeah.
For Rami?
Best actor in I am in it. But I mean, I'm not trying to make this about me. I'm in like 90 seconds of the entire series.
Hey, that's pretty good.
Hey, you know.
So what did he win?
He won Best Actor in a Musical or Comedy series or whatever.
That's a big award.
Dude, he was up against Bill Hader and fucking like big actors. And Michael Douglas.
What the
Rami
heck?
beat Michael Douglas. Well, Rami had said he was going to do the podcast previously. We may have just lost Rami to fame. But
Golden
hopefully we'll get him
Globers
in
tend to look beyond Oops the podcast.
But hey, man, you know, we'll
hey,
see.
you never know.
We got some big guests coming up, actually. So
we do.
Stay tuned, everyone.
Yeah, don't check out now.
Dude, I woke up this morning panicking about the fact that I've taken Adderall regularly for a decade.
Ooh.
Now, I take a small amount. I take 10 milligrams. The most I'll take in a day is 10 milligrams in the morning, 10 milligrams at night. Or not at night, in the afternoon. Usually, maybe a lot of the time I'll just take it 10 milligrams and that's it. I'm probably doing that 6 days a week consistently. The doctors are all like, you're going to be fine. You're going to be fine. It's fine. As long as you feel fine. It's such a small dose. Your weight could handle a much higher dose. But I woke up this morning being like, fuck, like, is this something that I want to like risk? I don't know. So I'm thinking about maybe trying to stop.
To wean off.
Or even like maybe it's an anxiety thing. The reason why it feels so good to me to take it and I feel normal is because it kind of kills my anxiety. Maybe I could just take anxiety medicine. I don't know. My goal for the next couple of months is to try to like figure out some alternate plan for that.
Why did you need to go on it in the first place?
I'm very ADD. I know everybody says that. I'm like so ADD, but like I really am. Like I started taking it and my life just improved in every single facet. And I had the urge to succeed and to be good at school and to be good at sports and stuff. And I was never as good at it as I could have been. And I couldn't focus. And when I started doing it, everything just fell into line for me. And I don't even feel it anymore. I don't get that euphoria. I literally don't feel it, but I can tell when I don't take it. So I don't know.
Do you get withdrawal symptoms if you don't take it?
Like, no, I'll probably just feel extra ADD maybe. Like I don't get like quote unquote withdrawals.
So you have a hard time focusing.
Yeah.
Now, is it that your mind is scattered? Do you daydream? Do you not listen to what people are saying?
No, I do. I do all of those things. But it's like when I don't take it, my day just feels so hard. Like everything's impossible. Like whether it's taking a hoodie off of a chair and hanging it up, or if it's having to sit down to work or to focus, like it just gives me like crippling anxiety. And then I just get tired.
Interesting. That is a very interesting way of describing that. I've never heard someone describe that before. Because you're right. I think a lot of people struggle to focus, right? That's a pretty common thing. I miss a lot of what people say when they're talking to me. And I think the problem is that someone will say something to me and then that spurs me. Like a word they say triggers this thought in my brain, and I start, a lot of the time I'm like, can I build a joke off of that? And my mind starts just going down a totally different track, and all of a sudden I come back into the conversation and I realize that I haven't heard anything for 3 minutes, that I've just been nodding glass-eyed and sort of playing along, and then I pick up the most recent thing they said and I'm like, yeah, trains are comfortable these days. When was the last train you went on? You know? And then they're like, wow, what a great listener. And I'm like, I fooled you, you idiot. But I was always able to like read and do my work without chemicals.
I can't. And I literally never, until college, and I struggled my first 2 years because of this. In high school, I never once started an assignment until the evening before it was due, ever.
Oh, God.
Ever. And high school was easy enough that I got away with it with the decent grades still. I did okay. And then in college, I realized very quickly that that was not a plausible strategy. And I got straight C's first semester of college. And then by the end, I was getting straight A's.
Really?
Yeah. And taking extra classes.
Did you get on the medicine while you were in college?
Yes. The middle, I started taking it regularly the middle of junior year.
Did you notice a huge improvement in your grades once that happened?
In my entire life. But yes, the grades, but in my entire life. And there are ways that they say that you can offset this by, eating unbelievably clean and not drinking. They say that like substances at all make ADD people like go nuts. And
sugar's a big
I can't
part
smoke
of it.
pot. I feel fucking crazy when I smoke. Sugar too. So like I don't want to live that life like that. That sounds shitty. Where I can't eat any sweets and not have any fun and I have to eat horse food all fucking day. That sounds terrible, dude. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to do that. So I'm wondering if there's like some other kind of medicine that it doesn't affect your heart that I can try that'll help me. If anybody knows and you have any stories of shit that worked for you, please let me know.
What about some of those other ones? The other like Vivenza or
that's a heart. Vyvanse is a heart one.
Proclenza.
They're all heart ones, but there's one called modafinil, which is supposed to be the quote unquote limitless drug, but that one it doesn't affect your heart apparently.
Huh.
Dude, this is a very interesting topic. We should definitely talk more about this at some point, but that's all we got for today.
That's it for now. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Happy 2020.
Yeah, and good luck with all your shit. It's like, you don't have to feel like a hack for having New Year's resolutions.
No.
It's a thing that is helpful for a reason, and we're all doing it together. So it's hopefully it'll be easier. So get out there and fucking do whatever you got to do.
Bingo. Hey, folks, I'm at the Charleston Comedy Festival at the Wolf Street Playhouse, I think it's called. Check that out. You can get tickets at francisellis.com on January 15th, Friday night. Hope to see you there.
Awesome. And you can catch me naked at a wedding in Venice, California. I don't know. I got nothing exciting coming up right now, but hit me up at NotJulio. We love you guys. Adios.